Deep in the powers of Nurgle's realm, two lost souls converse. Welcome to Hereticast.
By Sigmar, it's episode 2!
Yes, welcome to episode 2 of, what's that? Hereticast? It's SIGMARCAST now, baby! Yeah, I'm a tomb queen.
We're Sigmar now.
I'm a tomb queen now, and he's a witch hunter. How do we make this arrangement work? Well, here's my answer to that question. Fuck you, it's Sigmar, baby!
Does it make sense? No, but it's Sigmar. And what does Sigmar do? Completely retcons everything and changes it, like, a few years in. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we retcon shit, but you know what? We don't give a fuck because fuck you, it's Sigmar. So you probably know what the theme of this episode is gonna be.
They might have been able to guess. Who knows?
Sigmar fucking wins. Sigmar wins. There's no competition. The models they've been releasing have been just constant wins these last few weeks.
It's become a meme on Twitter where people say, if something gets leaked out of the rumor mill, does it suck? It's 40k. Is it good? It's Sigmar. And that's proved true, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, all facets of things.
Like, have you seen the Vampire Lord? I immediately jumped on that and made fan art of it because it looks beautiful. The Vampire Lord looks chef's kiss.
Absolutely.
And of course, I mean, the first thing that came into mind when I saw that model was like, if you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some bats in your hair. Please don't sue us, YouTube copyright strike.
I think we just might be able to get away with that one by the skin of our teeth. As long as we don't put in the background music.
I mean, the vampires overall looked really cool, like, for the Dire Chasm game.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. My headcanon for these vampires, you know, as a native German speaker, you would probably think I would use, like, the stereotypical German accent, like, haha, get in, loser, we're going to Reikhof, wir werden großen Schaden anfügen. No, my headcanon would be that they are Swiss vampires from Switzerland, from my home country. Hey,
yes.
Kurt, get in here, we're going to Altdorf. Wir können da Eis ziehen. Ah ja, okay Heidi, aber kommt denn sonst noch jemand mit? Ja, schon, der Friede hat auch gesagt, er kommt mit. Okay, gehen wir Eis ziehen.
Wow. I really like the headcanon because, and the thing is, with Sigmar, you can get away with that because this world is wacky as hell.
I mean, you said it yourself. It's more like with Sigmar, it really is like throwing pasta on the fridge and see what sticks. Like, hey, wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah, it really is.
Wouldn't it be cool if we had vampire mermaids on giant lizard snakes? Because that's a thing.
And those vampire mermaids on giant lizard snakes are technically part of the good guys faction.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Take that in. They're good. They're part of the Grand Alliance Order. Thing is, like, for those of our viewers who don't know, because, you know, it started as a 40k podcast. Well, it still is just for the episode, but it would stand to reason that some of our viewers wouldn't exactly know what's up with Sigmar. So the thing is, the basic rundown of the lore in Sigmar is that in this world of different realms, each controlled by a god, 8 realms, there has been an ongoing war between the realms that make up the Grand Alliance of Order, the realms of Chaos, the realm of Death, and the forces of Destruction, which are more or less realmless, I think. The reason all of these orders clash is because both Order and Death want to destroy Chaos, but they have very different ways of going about it that run contrary to another. Order essentially being the good guys. I guess you could make them analogous to if the Imperium, the Tau, and the Eldar, yes, all the Eldar, including Drukhari and Harlequins, all united into one coalition to fight the forces of Chaos. And Death is more of a unique faction in that, on one hand, it used to be that they wanted to destroy all the other realms and become, like, the only realm that could defeat chaos and exist, really. Like, kill off everyone in all the other realms, bring them into the fold, and then use all the combined forces at once to push back chaos. You know, cut out the middleman, but, you know, more like murder the middleman and his whole family, more or less. But that backfired. Their plans repeatedly backfired whenever they tried to do that, because the god of undeath, Nagash, is an idiot in Sigmar.
He's big stupid.
He is.
But we love him for it. Remember, I am the Lesser Tomb Queen. I'm allowed to shit-talk Nagash whatever I want, because I'm currently hiding in someone's Nurgle basement.
The thing is with Nagash as a character is, like, he feels like, he feels like a human Looney Tune. He's like, dude, I got this. Trust me, I got this. I can do this.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Nagash is that when all the realms were united against chaos in this large battle, the Lord of the Realm of Undeath, Nagash, he essentially is just a lich god. He basically just ditched the whole battle and says, hey, I'm gonna let all the other factions sort of exhaust themselves fighting chaos. Then I'll swoop in at the end and basically win. I'll be able to defeat chaos. The other realms will have died. I can bring them into the fold. It's going to be great. I can do it all on my own. I believe in myself. That did not work. And later he concocted a new scheme to try and make a giant pyramid that would basically kill all life across all the realms. And then he could bring everyone into the fold and beat chaos. Trust me, I got it this time, guys. I can do this. But that pyramid turned out to be infested with Skaven, and it failed. So much so that it created a giant black hole in the realm of death that is slowly absorbing the entire realm of death, Shyish. So the forces of death kind of have, like, this edge of desperation to them, I guess, because their home is slowly being sucked into a black hole. And furthermore, it also caused something called the Necroquake, which essentially elicited a gigantic magical pulse across all the realms that raised dead across the realms and essentially instigated, I guess, what I could best describe as wild magic from D&D. For those of you who don't know what wild magic is, it's in D&D when you cast. There are certain factions and spells or scenarios in D&D where when you cast a spell, it has a percentage chance to go wild, meaning that it will cause more or less a random effect. Like in Sigmar, I think a big thing is that spells are limitless. They go on forever. Like if you cast a fireball, it won't dissipate after a certain time. It will just keep going. Or like if you summon something, it will just keep summoning it. Like I summon a snake. Oh no, snakes everywhere. Oops.
Oops, all snakes.
That's a thing. Oops, all snakes, more or less. But wild magic is basically running rampant through all the realms, and it's a complete mess. So now, in the current age of Sigmar, there's 4 factions. Grand Alliance Order, which, as I said, is kind of like a bunch of disparate factions, basically being noble knights, steampunk dwarves, vampire mermaids who ride snakes, the Daughters of Cain, who are essentially like witch cults from Warhammer, or from 40k.
Kind of like in Drukhari, so yeah.
Kind of like Drukhari, and Maggie's personal favorite. Why don't you tell them about it?
You mean the Sylvaneth?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, reject modernity, become tree, the fucking tree people. I want to be,
Yes.
If in the future, I want to become tank tree.
Become tree. No, it's, they have very cool models, the Nagash, or not the Nagash, what are they called?
The Sylvaneth.
The Sylvaneth. I'm bad with names.
No, that's okay. Like, remember,
like, especially-
on Twitter, we have made up, like, bootleg names for the Warhams cast. Which, oh yeah,
is
by
true.
the way, yeah, we were supposed to record this episode a lot earlier, but I was preoccupied with something.
She was. If, for those of you who don't know, our beloved Maggie here was animating a large, it's like a 2.5 minute animation for the Warhams campaign ran by Zoran the Bear, Speaker D,
Arendelle,
Amarillo, I'm so dumb. Arendelle, and,
Hulky Crow, or as we call him now, Polka Cow.
Polka Crow. All I can think of is Polka Cow. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, don't say polka cow, don't say polka cow. I'm like, fuck, I couldn't figure the name. All I knew was polka cow.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sneaker D. I mean, I no longer call him Speaker D anymore. I can hardly even say it anymore. It's Sneaker D now. And like Zorn the beer, that's sort of like a mispronunciation from one of my friends. Like, oh, so this Zoran the beer character, is he like a YouTuber or something? Like, yeah, because apparently Germans have a really hard time trying to pronounce bear. They pronounce it as beer, so
Yeah.
congratulations, you're now a beverage.
The beer.
So yeah, I was going hams, if you will.
Yeah. Yes, she went ham on the animation, and that is literal because it looks absolutely amazing.
Oh,
You should all
thanks.
go watch it. Yes. And that's not the only recent development, by the way, because yours truly did start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you got your own YouTube channel now. Where you, and thank you so much for, like, dubbing the super old comic that I did a long time ago of Demonofuge.
Thanks. It's a really good comic, and I absolutely will dub more of your comics in the future if I ever get the chance. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a few in mind. For those of you who don't know, that is what I have been doing over on my channel, doing voiceover dubs of memes, just practicing my editing. But I actually do plan to start releasing lore videos, and we will get into that a little more later.
Hopefully, yeah.
But for now, getting back on track with Sigmar, there's the Order faction, and then Chaos, which we all know and love, the Death faction, which is something quite unique to Sigmar that really doesn't have an equivalent in 40k. I know I shouldn't be doing this constant back and forth comparison between Sigmar and 40k, because they are quite different. I'm just trying to make it digestible and a little easier to get their head around for viewers who don't really know anything about Sigmar. Because before we filmed this episode, I didn't know anything. I just started binging lore videos that I could find. And like tabletop videos.
Yeah.
As well as the Grand Order known as Destruction, which can only be described as orcs, more or less. Like, they're just out here to fight and destroy things, and they're not really much of a faction themselves, as they are a foil to all the other factions in terms of the lore. So yeah, they are basically orcs, which means they're the best.
Of course, green is best.
Orcs is best!
Yeah. In any universe, both Sigmar and 40k and everywhere else.
So, in these four grand alliances, you have sub-factions, and my favorite sub-faction would probably be Legions of Nagash, because I've always loved the undead aesthetic, and where that actually comes from for me is because my friends and I used to play a lot of a very old game called Heroes of Might and Magic 3 back in high school. It was old even by our standards, but we still had it. We played a lot, and for those of you who know the game, or have seen the Seth Zine Talk video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a video on it. I would always play the faction known as Necropolis and try and hoard as many skeletons as I could. And, like, overwhelm my friends by, like, sheer force of numbers.
You can't have enough spooky, scary skeletons. Spooky,
You really
scary
can't.
skeletons.
I remember once, I was gonna buy more skeletons. I had more skeletons than any of my other friends had units put together in their entire army. I was gonna buy more, then my friend actually grabbed my hand and moved the mouse towards, the skip turn button and pushed it. I'm like, why did you do that? And he looks at me, he's like, I refuse to lose. That just stuck with me. Like, it's been like almost like 8 years and that stuck with me. Let's not forget though, the models coming out of Sigmar have been absolutely amazing. The lore is very interesting and fun. The reason it's so interesting is because they can experiment and get wacky with it. Because 40k has it's a good aesthetic, it's really nice, but it's very narrow.
Yeah, true.
All the factions are set in stone, they all have a very specific aesthetic to them, but Sigmar, they just throw anything at the wall. Tree people, you got tree people. Steampunk dwarves, you got steampunk dwarves. You want weird, ghoulish goblins who are deluded into thinking that they're beautiful, honorable knights who are like chivalric crusaders. You got that too. That's a whole faction, by the way.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're like the court of fiends, or like fiends of the court. They're like, in their head, they believe they're beautiful knights with flowing hair and shields who save maidens and will bring peace to the realm. But in reality, they're actually just these ugly, balding vampires. They look like Nosferatu from Vampire the Masquerade, like the ugly. That's one thing I think is cool. Like, that's really awesome. But to say that all these really awesome models coming out of Sigmar, like vampire lords who go into battle with bats in their hair,
Yeah.
to just for the flex, the aesthetic flex, that doesn't say 40k has gotten nothing.
Yeah!
What have they gotten?
A baby carrier!
What we have affectionately known as the Fisher-Price baby carrier.
Hey there, sororitas! Do you feel left out? Don't worry, now you can have a giant overgrown baby carrier just like the Dread Knight!
It's a big fanon thing in TTS to make fun of that model.
Here's the thing about that model. Like, if you put these two together, they give off the tiny children of elementary school vibe. Okay, this is gonna sound like a weird, but like, okay, maybe this is just from my personal experiences because there used to be these tiny children in elementary school who would always pick the biggest and most dangerous stilts, and that's kind of the vibe that's getting. There's like tiny angry elementary school children on stilts.
See, that's not something we ever had here in North America, because they would not, in North America, they're not going to trust kids with stilts. A kid is going to end up falling 2 feet and somehow turn himself into a quadriplegic, and then the school will never function again.
Oh dear.
Like, they did not trust us with that, and rightly so, because children in North America, we're idiots. I just need to put that on the table. We are idiots.
Well, once again, another reason to be terrified of European children.
Yeah.
Especially the Alpine children. Crazy Alpine powers.
Because, like, you people will be, like, 12, drinking wine, driving, and walking on stilts, and doing it effectively.
Oh god. You give
I'm
up.
not even kidding.
This is gonna. I'm gonna put that image during that conversation. This will be a meme image.
God. But also, another thing 40k got, there have been some game releases. Warhammer Fantasy got a third Total War game.
Yeah.
That's gonna look good.
And the trailer looked also really awesome, even though I have no idea what was going on. I have no idea what the Ice Queen, Ice Power Lady is, but her, like, fighting off the forces of chaos in this, like, snowy wasteland it looked amazing. And what does 40k get? A mobile game!
Essentially, they're essentially getting, like a gacha game almost.
Oh,
It's just
boy.
a game you're supposed to just sink money in. It's a gacha game.
It's
let's be
a
honest.
gacha game. Oh, god.
What is that? What is that one game that our friend plays? It's the one a lot of people are playing right now.
You mean Genshin Impact?
Genshin Impact, yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's the one. It's like Genshin Impact.
Oh, god.
So as you can see, this is why we made the switch. We clearly need to be, we want to be ahead of the curve when 40k collapses, because Sigmar stays winning.
Yep.
They really do.
Keeps winning. Never stop
Oh,
winning.
God. Honestly. That's the thing, like, Sigmar lore, it's not as, I guess, I don't think it's really as in-depth, and I could very well be wrong, as 40k lore, and that's just because of the volume of books that have been released for 40k.
Oh, that's true. And speaking of, like, 40k books, I'm gonna get to that as well later on.
Absolutely, because you have been reading some good ones, and we will get to that. I have too, actually. I've started one that I've been really enjoying lately. One second. I'm just waiting for something to load here.
Several minutes later.
Here we go. Oh, I think we've actually covered all our bases pretty well. The next thing on the list is you actually talking about the books you've been reading.
Oh, cool, yeah. So,
Yeah.
last episode, you did a lot of homework, and so for this episode, I decided to do some homework as well. And I decided to take the recommendation given to us by one of our lovely commenters of our first episode. I'm not sure if I should give a shout out just yet. If you guys want a shout out in an episode of Hereticast, please let us know. Yeah, a person in one of our comment sections, so basically, you know who you are, you recommended to me the Forges of Mars series, and I decided to start reading I have read Priest of Mars, and I gotta say, thank you so much, lovely commenter. This book was amazing. I was thoroughly enjoying it. Julius Hawk is a joy to read, and like the character Julius Hawk is just so amazingly funny, and even like the side characters are great. Also, there is a character called Rabute, which leads me to the theory. Ah yes, I've got the grand theory that the name Rabute is actually the Kevin of Ultramar. Rabute, much like Rabute Gilliman, our great Primarch, is from Ultramar. And so, this leads me to the conclusion, so basically it's kind of like calling somebody Karen or Kevin.
Kevin. Or he's a Kyle. He's a confirmed Kyle.
Confirmed Kyle, yeah.
Someone needs to make, like, the 40K high school AU, and it's just, like, Gilliman in, like a varsity leather jacket with sunglasses at all times.
Oh, God. Another image.
The high school, just him there, like, arms crossed at all times, with some the goth leader of, the cheer squad. Nerds. What's going on, nerds? And it's like a bunch of heretics. Nothing. Looks like something's going on here. Nerds.
Obviously, I'm not going to spoil a whole lot about Forges of Mars. All of it can say is it gave me a very interesting look into how the Mechanicus works, how Servitors works, how Skitarii work, and it's also given us this is just not a huge spoiler, so it's just a part that I found funny. There was a scene in the book where an Eldar Farseer lady gives, like, this striking scorpion Eldar, a warrior Eldar, this gift, like, here you go, it's a sword, and he's just basically goes like, thanks, I hate it. But yeah.
Oh God. The writer behind these books, Graham McNeil, he's known for having like a really good sense of wit in his writing. That's something he's known for.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it before in the book Fulgrim, another book I've been live tweeting about a long time ago, and the Pinkuisitor lost his shit when I read passages from these book.
Oh man.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that part later.
That's the one with what's it called? My Phoenix, right?
Yes. Oh yes, Horus, my Fulgrim, my Phoenix.
Phoenix. And then they locked eyes. She's reading this aloud. She's like, Fulgrim and Horus locked eyes. And I just yell out, I'm like, did they lock eyes or lock lips? What the fuck? Jesus.
Hopefully I can find that image somewhere so I can put that also onto the screen.
That should be around somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah.
You have been reading Forges of Mars, and another book you read, the greatest book ever written.
Oh, yeah. Technically, I've been listening to it while I'm working, and I'm still listening to it. I have to re-listen to it again because it is the best book ever. The Infinite and the Divine!
Yes!
It is a great book. It's so good to listen to. It's so enjoyable. It's so funny and witty, and I love Trazin. Ah, god damn it, I don't. Trazin.
Charizard.
He's good. He's cool. He's best. He's best boy. There's a really
that's what we've heard. Yeah.
There's a really feelsy scene between him and a librarian, and it's like the librarian dude that lives in his collection museum, and it's so feelsy. But I'm not gonna spoil too much of it. So yeah, it's good. It's so good. Go read it.
This is the thing about Trays in the Infinite that I've actually noticed is because I've watched the entire Battlefleet Gothic 2 campaign start to finish, and Trays in the Infinite is a more reliable ally than the Eldari. All the Eldari.
That is
for
true.
humans.
And he's also,
He really
and
is.
the voice actor did such a brilliant job in, like, the trailers of Battlefleet Gothic, like, where he has this conversation with Call. And it's,
Belisarius Cole, yeah.
yeah, and it's like, you are an abomination. I prefer the term honored guest. Logic dictates otherwise.
Logic dictates that you and I have common cause. I love the new Necrons, because before Necrons essentially used to just be like Terminators, basically. You know, this unstoppable legion bent on destroying everything. But now they have a lot more
Personality.
character to them.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I didn't. Oh, I guess I think maybe the closest equivalent would be to death in Sigmar to 40k would be Necrons. How did I miss that? Yeah, I see that. Like, they do kind of cooperate. They do kind of cooperate with the good guys, but they have their own agenda also, and there's reason for that. They're very much their own threat, and they have reasons for being the way they are and doing what they're doing.
I just realized something. Hopefully it's not too much of an off tangent, since we're back to 40k. So, Ilya Nastase is a thing again.
Yes, he is, and the fandom has lost their minds.
So for those not in the know, Ilya Nastase is a character that used to be part of old 40k, specifically Rogue Trader. Ilya Nastase was a half Eldar.
He's not. There have been characters that have been speculated. There have been characters like one Rogue Trader. He was like a Corsair or something, like a pirate, who was speculated to be half human, half Eldar. That was only a speculation. Nastase is canon. Like, he's canonically half human, half Eldar.
So here's the thing. That reveal came out almost immediately after I released my Kelreth/Ina animatic. So, Ina and Kelreth, you have some splaining to do.
Oh, man.
Ina's just sips coffee nervously. Kelreth is behind his, he's behind his mask, but he's actually trying very hard to hide his extreme mortification at this fact.
Just all eyes in
and
the room.
And then he skedaddles away from the situation. Poofs away.
Oh, I have to go do something far away from here. I have somewhere to be. Where? Not here. But I actually you go.
Sorry, yeah, but I mean, technically they already have a kid. I mean, I've already spammed Manad on my Twitter for yeah. Possible future video.
Talking about her characters. That would be fun. Just a video just talking about her characters, because she has a lot and they're all very interesting.
Aww.
But I actually will be going over not so much Ilya Nastase, but the concept of half Eldar and the logistics behind it, how it works, in a lore video I plan to record the audio for today, and hopefully it will be up on my channel. If all goes according to plan, it'll be up on my channel before this podcast goes live, because these podcasts do take some time to edit, and because she does put the spicy memes in there.
Yeah, I need to put the funny ha-has in them.
So, the day we're recording this is Valentine's Day. So whenever this gets uploaded, that should tell you how long it takes.
Oh, not just Valentine's Day. It's Happy Singles Awareness Day, everyone.
Happy Singles Awareness Day to all of you watching this podcast alone. We're with you.
We're with you.
But I will have a video going over some of the biology of Eldar, the logistics about it, what we know as fact, and some conjecture on my part, over on my channel. Go check it out. It's something I'm quite proud of, and I hope you have some fun with it while you're watching it.
Yeah, because he put his high school biology knowledge to great use. It is insane what he did.
It's like my teacher told me, if you don't study biochemistry, you're gonna need it in the real world, and they were right.
They were right indeed, because he used it to try and figure out Eldar amino acids.
Yes, amino acids, lactic acid, genetics, how genetics would work for a half Eldar, because, you know what, I won't spoil too much. I do want people to head over to my channel. thank you for the plug. Hopefully. But you have not been the only one that has been doing some reading. I have lately become quite enamored with
Blackstone!
The Blackstone Fortress. Yes, the Blackstone Fortress series. The game looks very cool because it's a small-scale skirmish game. That's something that's interesting. Which I think it actually can be played single-player, oddly enough. Blackstone. I don't think people would, but like I think it can be actually. That's interesting. But I've devoured as much knowledge as I can about one character in particular that's very interesting, UR025, who, if you don't know, is actually a man of iron in disguise as an Imperial automaton. And again, I think I do have an upcoming lore video about that too, going into my own personal theories about the men of gold, stone, and iron, some of the real ancient lore of 40k. But the thing is, one thing I really like, if you know me, is the Wild West setting and cowboys. I love the sort of cowboy aesthetic, that Wild West sort of thing.
Yeah, that's why I painted
butter.
like that's why you got me into like Malifaux, the
Yes.
which is also amazing. But then we have to really change up our image and no longer be the Hereticast or the Sigmarcast. We have to be the cowboy cast, the Malacast. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another can of worms for another day. But the thing is with Blackstone Fortress, for those who don't know, there is essentially one of those Blackstone fortresses that I'm sure you have heard of by now. These large, ancient superstructures built by the old ones, floating through space, and it has essentially a ramshackle space station built around it, known as Precipice. Disparate people of all different species and races and creeds all gather together at Precipice for their own reasons. But all of them have their own reasons for being there, but they all have a singular goal. Get into the Blackstone Fortress, salvage things, get treasure, get whatever you can find, and get out alive. Lot easier said than done. It's very interesting because you get characters who would never interact, having to work in close proximity with each other. Administorum adepts, Kroots, noble rogue traders, that sort of thing. All together, Skitari and tech priests, all having to work in close proximity. And the thing is, as much as I've been devouring knowledge about UR205, a big thing is reading a book called Blackstone Fortress by... I forget the author's name.
Is it... is it Dan... No, it's not Dan Abnett.
No, it's not Dan Abnett.
Dabnett. Dabnett on them haters. I'm Dabnett. I don't care if I screw up the lore about psychic blanks. They're invisible now. We've been losing our shit over that as well.
Yeah, it's Darius Hinks, by the way. That is who the author is.
Darius Hinks. Okay.
The book is very fun. It's about this noble-born rogue trader who heads to Precipice, ends up assembling essentially a motley crew of people to go in. I'm not that far into the book, but I have been loving it so far because you can get extremely compelling characters, all who are very different, into close quarters and force them to work together. That's what I love about Blackstone, the very unpredictable Wild West nature of it. Like, it's not about intrigue or politics or grand sweeping battles, but those are great. It's just about the wacky adventure of these few characters, you know?
Yeah.
That's like, they don't really trust each other. Maybe they're going to have to grow to be friends. Maybe they'll betray each other. And they're just trying to get in and get out alive. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, it's unpredictable. That's what's great.
Yeah, that's why I've been also thinking, like, there's 40k has a lot of potential, but I feel like it's, not, like, there are certain stories that have been told, like, certain settings, but they're not told, like, they're not being put into the forefront. Like, you've seen my pitch everywhere on the Discord servers that I frequent. Like, I would love to make, like, a detective story where, okay, like, Manad, my half-Eldar OC do not steal, is basically this buddy to this Inquisitor who basically, like, he's the trickster character who always shows up and gives information to the Inquisitor to help her solve cases and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a really cool concept, and I think a lot of people would love to see that. I think the problem with 40k is that the story potential for 40K is overshadowed by the setting and lore of 40K.
Mm-hmm.
It's so specific and laid out and so detailed. It's hard to make these wacky, out of left field scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you're describing. But what you're describing, you know where something like that could happen? If both the Inquisitor and Monad were located on precipice. Then that could happen. That's what I love about Blackstone. It's kind of is like the frontier of 40K lore. Anything can happen. It really is. You know, this is the final frontier, you know? This is like, you know, gunfights break out in saloons between God knows who. You get Mexican standoffs. You got random people having to cooperate to catch the bad guy. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. And, you know, we are actually running close out of time. We're getting close on 40 minutes.
That's true, yeah. Just wanted to say that, like, I mean, if by editing this, it might be even shorter, but who knows, like...
Oh yeah, that's fine, obviously. But still, like, you know, I think it's obviously not going to shoot down to, like, 20 minutes or anything like that.
Yeah.
But still, like, I think things have run pretty well in terms of time. So one thing I want to get to is one thing that was brought up in the last episode comment section was someone wanted me to try and do a solid Snake voice. Because I guess technically I am a rookie voice actor at this point.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do like a solid Snake thing, like.
Colonel, I'm trying to purge the enemies of the Imperium, but the sound of my prayers are too loud, and it keeps alerting the heretics.
Wait, Snake! That's not Master Miller!
Ah, shit, what are some other solid Snake lines?
I've been prepping for the Iditarod for something. Dog sledding. Otacon! Otacon, I don't care about your latest figurine. Otacon, why did this figurine come in the mail? What is this? Snake, that's nothing. Otacon, how much did you spend? Is this a Funko Pop? It's not a Funko Pop. It's a custom-made vinyl figure. That's Hatsune Miku, Snake. Who? Isn't she the person who... Didn't she sing Levant Polka?
Oh,
Isn't she
dude!
from Finland?
Well, like...
Since we're speaking about the comment section, like, you wanna read the wrestling line? You got that up on the comment section?
Shoot, send that to me really quickly in a screenshot.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna copy that, and yeah, then you know, so you want to do the first paragraph up?
Oh, yes, I will start us off with the first paragraph. I actually just hurt my throat doing the Solid Snake line.
Oh,
So I
dear.
hope this sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, stepping into the ring, please give a warm welcome to our two newest contenders. Oh wait, was I supposed to say the next paragraph too? First up, you know him. You love him. You hate him. You love to hate him, and hate that you love him. The chosen of Slaanesh, the first captain of the Emperor's Children, the greatest swordsman in the Chaos Legions. Please give a round of applause for the one, the only, Lucius the Eternal!
Next up, the girl from the filthy streets of Camorra, a tough and no-shit-talking warrior who clawed and stabbed and slashed her way to the top. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, a 10-time champ in the gladiator pits of the Dark City, the legendary Red Matron. She'll break your heart and your bones. If looks could kill, then Slaanesh will be long since dead. Please welcome Lilith Hesperax!
I think yours was better than mine in that one. I did struggle with that one a bit.
It's
'cause,
alright.
like, when I'm gonna do voice, I need like a little bit of prep time to like limber up. I need to do like the vocal exercises.
Nah, you're doing great so far, so yeah.
Thanks. I think that about wraps it up. Again, things were a little bit shaky this episode because both of us are new to this. We will hopefully get better as the days go on.
Yeah.
With when episode 3 rolls around. And funny thing about episode 3, we're not going to tell you what it's about, but here's a hint.